Investing in Airbnbs can be incredibly lucrative. But to make money, you first need to find the right property. Because let's face it, you can also lose money if you buy the wrong property, and no one wants that. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to do two things. First, I'll show you how to avoid losing money investing in Airbnbs, even if everything goes to And then once you've done that, I'll show you how to actually make money, and ideally lots of it, by buying a home run property. If you stay till the end, I'll show you my secret to finding hidden gem properties. These are properties that get overlooked by other investors. Let's dive right in and show you how to keep your hard-earned money and avoid potential losses. To do this, you need to focus on one thing above all else: cash flow. Here's the stupid simple math. If you bought a property in North America at any point in the last 15 years, you made money unless you sold it at the wrong time. You see, if you zoom out on a graph of North American home prices, you see a line that goes up and to the right. Perfect. Everyone's making money. But when you zoom in, you see that there were a bunch of smaller ups and downs along the way. So the trick with real estate investing is to wait. If now isn't a good time to sell, then hold on and wait until it is a good time to sell. Simple as that. So rule number one, assuming you want to make money and not lose it, is to buy properties that cash flow, meaning every single month, they bring in more money than you spend paying the bills. And with short-term rentals, there's an extra layer to this. Obviously, short-term rentals can have inconsistent cash flow month over month. Unlike long-term rentals, the rent that you collect varies every single month. So when you're looking at purchasing a short-term rental property, you've got to assume the worst. You can use a site like AirDNA to see year-over-year trends, seasonal trends, and low-performing properties. All this data should give you an accurate idea of just how bad things can get. And this is exactly the opposite of what almost every investor does. Most people only look at the best case scenario, and that can really bite you in the butt. As a good rule of thumb, make sure that even in a worst case scenario, you're still going to be able to at least break even. If you want step-by-step tutorials that show you my exact process for this, then check out B&B Tribe. For just $49 a month, you'll get access to all the tools you need. Tools that'll help you with everything from the analysis to the purchase to launching and more. If not, you could very well end up like this investor or this one or this one, or any of the hundreds of others who have taken devastating losses by failing to mitigate their risk. All right, so now that you've checked to make sure you aren't gonna lose money, it's finally time for the fun part. Next, let's look at how to find properties that are profitable, including my secret trick for finding hidden gems. Now, I like to break this down into 3 stages, and stage 3 is by far the most important. The first stage is where we compare revenue to purchase price. The best way to do this is by using a site like AirDNA to find the average revenues of each size of property. Once we've got this, we can use a multiple to quickly figure out our max purchase price for a given size of property. The multiple that I found to work best at this stage is right around 8. Because by the time you calculate cash on cash return with a 20% down payment, assuming current market interest rates and backing out all the normal operating expenses for the property, 8 tends to be the magic number where you can still reasonably hit a 15% cash on cash return. But you don't actually need to know any of that. All you need to know is 8. Take the average revenue for a 4-bedroom property, multiply that number by 8, and you're done. That's your max purchase price for a 4-bedroom property. Easy as that. Now, tell your realtor that you're looking for a 4-bedroom property, let's say, within that price range, and you're ready to move on to step 2. Unfortunately, step 2 requires more of something that I know a lot of people hate: math. Now, as much as I know their attention on this video is gonna take a nosedive as soon as I start talking about math, I'd be doing you a disservice by skipping over it. So instead, I'll do my absolute best to keep it as simple as possible. The easiest way to spot a great deal is with something called cash on cash return. And it's exactly what it sounds like. How much cash are you earning in profit relative to how much cash you invested to buy the property? And to figure this out, there's really only 3 numbers that you need to know. Number 1, you've got to know your revenue. This is how much money the property can bring in. Number 2, you've got to know your expenses. This is for stuff like your mortgage and other operating expenses like cleaning. And number 3, you've got to know your initial investment. This is how much you need to spend on the down payment, the furniture, and other upfront investments. For number 2 and 3, they're pretty straightforward. Figuring out your potential revenue is by far the trickiest part, so let's start there. Take a look at AirDNA again. This time, refine your search more so that it matches the property in question as closely as possible. The filters that I like best are for the number of people it accommodates, the number of bedrooms, and the type of property. You may also want to filter by category depending on the property. From there, just check to make sure that you've got at least 100 properties in your data set. If not, you risk having your numbers be skewed by a few outliers. Next, scroll down to revenue and take a look at the last 3 to 5 years, broken down by percentile. Export that data and pay special attention to the 75th percentile column. This is where you'll find the data that you need for running reasonable revenue projections. Next up is expenses. Most of these will be available in your seller's listing. If not, just ask the seller to tell you how much they pay for things like utilities and property taxes. Then you'll want to call around and figure out what interest rate you can get on a mortgage, call an insurance broker, get some ballpark quotes, and also shop around for cleaning quotes so you can factor those in as well. Once you've got your expenses, the last step is figuring out your initial investment. And figuring out your initial investment is also pretty simple. Just figure out what sort of down payment you'll need to make, add in any furnishing and renovation expenses. We've got really simple tools, by the way, for all of this in B&B Tribe. And finally, add in your closing costs. Okay. So now you've got all the numbers you need and you're pretty much good to go. Revenue minus your expenses will give you your cash flow. Divide that by your initial investment amount and you'll find your cash on cash return. 15% or more means you're in the clear. Anything less and you're likely better off to pass. And it's at this stage, assuming all looks good, that I would typically place an offer. Conditional, of course, to give myself time for the final stage. Stage number 3. Now, in stage number 3, our goal is to make damn sure that we're getting a great deal. Because if we aren't, then we could well be making a mistake to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars. And that's all the more reason to consider joining B&B Tribe. For a tiny investment of just $49 a month, you can join a community that'll help you to avoid losing your shirt on a bad deal. Not only that, but it'll help you to squeeze more profit out of your listing once you get it up and running. So check it out. The link to join is in the description down below. All right, now that we're on to stage 3, it's time to do a little more digging. For this stage, we're gonna look at individual comps. Comps are properties that are similar to yours that either prove or disprove your initial projections from stage 2. To find comps, go back to AirDNA and head over to the listing section with the same filters you used for stage 2. Sort the results by revenue and take a look. First, find properties that are similar to yours. Next, check if their revenue meets or exceeds your projections. If so, great. If the numbers fall short, that's a red flag. There better be a clear reason why they're lower and at least several other comps that aren't. If you've come this far and the numbers still look good, then pull the trigger and move forward. If the numbers don't check out, then it's back to the drawing board. But want to know my secret trick for finding home run properties that other investors overlook? The trick is to look for hidden revenue boosters and price slashers. These are little details about a property that do one of two things. Either they help it to make more money on Airbnb without increasing the purchase price, or they drastically lower the purchase price of the property without negatively impacting returns. So think of things like a spare room in the basement that can be converted into a movie room, or maybe a hot tub that comes with the property, or a place that needs some TLC, or a place that's near the lake without actually being on the waterfront. Looking for these will make your property search much more fruitful. If at any stage the numbers start to look dubious though, don't be afraid to back out. It's better to lose a few hours of time than a few months and tens of thousands of dollars. With enough patience, you'll eventually find a great deal. If you want my help to speed things up, check out B&B Tribe at the link in the description. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.